All right, you legendary, wonderful humans. Welcome back to the Meditation Hub and A Mentor's Guide to. If you've ever been stuck wondering what are you going to teach, whether it's in a workshop or a class or in a one-on-one session, if you've ever been a little bit like, I've learned all this different information, what aspect of it do I want to bring to the world? Well, worry not, because I've got you. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to give you the best strategy that I know to let you come up with the goods. Let you come up with the bloody goods. All right. So, for example, in my industry, people come and they learn how to teach meditation, but there's breath work, there's visualization, there's affirmation, there's concentration, there's focus, there's working with the senses, there's processing emotions. There's so many different aspects of what we do as a meditation teacher. And if someone wanted to run a 1 hour, 2 hour workshop, it's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to teach? There's so many things I could do. And I'm sure it's the same across any industry. Most people who we attract here that are watching this are going to be in the personal development, self-help, kind of space. So I'm sure this will be relevant to you. Okay, there's 3 things. A Venn diagram. I love a Venn diagram. If you tick off each one of these 3 things, you are going to know the perfect thing to teach to your audience that's going to move them, that's going to encourage them. Enough waffle, let's get into it. So the first one is it has to be something that you have, hold on, I'm just writing so I can show you, knowledge and or experience with. That's the first circle. Can you see that? Knowledge and experience. So it has to be something you have knowledge and experience. Why? Because then you're going to be able to teach it well. Not only do you have the insight in terms of the information, but it personally relates to you. It's something you've lived through. I have a bit of a rule. Everything that I teach is something that I've directly and genuinely experienced myself. And if not, I'll say, here's something I've learned about the science or the tradition. I don't know much about it because I haven't experienced, but here's what people say. But I'll be very clear about that. Everything I teach is something that I have knowledge or experience around, unless otherwise stated. You're going to be a better teacher if you're coming from that place, especially the experience bit. How does what you're teaching relate to your own story? And what stories do you have to bring it forth to the people in front of you? People love to hear from your own experience. So that's the first thing. What do you have knowledge about and experience with? Okay. The next one is I have to sound it out because it's hard to think and write at the same time. Enthusiasm. What do you got enthusiasm about? Because guess what? You could have experience with something and knowledge about it, but you don't really give a shit about it. It's boring to you, it's not interesting, and you're not lit up about it. Back when one of the many things I've studied was a health coaching course related to nutrition, and I remember some of the people would get up and present their dietary ideas behind a lectern and speak very dryly about whatever they were into. Yes, the health quality relating to broccoli is actually quite fascinating. And I'd be like, cannot remember one thing about anything they said because I was asleep. And then there's other people that would teach things that I didn't even necessarily care about it, but they do it with such enthusiasm and such passion and such vigor that I would remember what they said and I would be moved by it. Enthusiasm is contagious and it helps. Like, people can feel your genuine interest in what you're talking about and your love for it. And that's what lands for people. It's like the emotion you bring becomes the glue that helps your message to stick. So they get the benefit of remembering the good stuff you're teaching. So it has to be something that you have a sense of enthusiasm about. All right. The next bit, the next circle, here we go. Third and final circle this is the big one, because there's a lot of people who teach. Here's the interesting thing. There's a lot of people who teach what they're enthusiastic about, what they have knowledge and experience around. But if it's not this final one, relevant, if it doesn't have relevance to the people that you're speaking in front of, what's the point? What's the point? So, for example, I could be talking about fishing knots at a women's retirement home. I could be doing it with knowledge and enthusiasm, but they're not going to care. Unless somehow the fishing knots relate to their knitting knots or crocheting knots. Maybe there's some old women fishermen in there, fisherwomen, I don't know, right? But it has to be relevant. It's got to be relevant. So we want to think, okay, what is highly relevant to the audience that I'm speaking to? What's highly relevant to them? Or the other way to do it, if there's something you're enthusiastic about and you have knowledge and experience about, you have to pick who you're going to speak in front of based upon what's relevant to them. You can either match what you teach to the relevance of the people. Like if I was teaching meditation, I've done this, if I was teaching meditation to young team of football players, the way I present it and the aspects of meditation I share with them, boys that are between 16, young men, 16 and 24, what's relevant and how it's relevant to them is going to be so different to advanced yoga teachers that are around the age of 40 to 50. What is relevant to them? And what am I enthusiastic about? What knowledge and experience? So if you tick off those three things, there's a very small area in there where these three circles intersect. And let's call that the magic zone. Right there, see? Right in the middle, the magic zone. That's where you are going to do your best teaching. You've got vigor, you've got enthusiasm, you're bringing your heart to it, you've got personal experience, and you've got the knowledge to back up your enthusiasm. And of course, the people who you're speaking in front of, sharing it with, are all ears because it's highly relevant to exactly what they're going through in their life right now. You've been able to frame it in a way that speaks directly to them, what they're experiencing and what they're going through. Find the magic zone. From there, choose what it is you want to share. Bob's your uncle. I had a client once, back when I was teaching yoga, and I was leading this particular one-on-one client through some different yoga modalities than she'd done before. And I remember when she wanted to I was helping her design a 4-week workshop and help set up some business structure and stuff like that. And she wanted to teach the stuff that I was sharing with her because it was moving her and it was inspiring. So she had the inspiration and the enthusiasm there, but here's the thing. She didn't yet have the experience because it was all new. It was just landing in her body. That bit was missing. And when she thought about the community she taught yoga to, it would have fallen a little bit on deaf ears because it was a different approach. It was a little bit more refined and sensitive. It wasn't the typical kind of jump and pump yoga that the people that she was teaching were used to. So she wanted to teach a 4-week course. We came back to what she is deeply knowledgeable about, already confident with, what she also has enthusiasm about, and what was highly relevant to the people she was working with. And from there, it was so much easier to recognize she was an expert in alignment, for example, of using her bone structure and musculature in a certain way that could really support the demographic and age group she was working with, and it was highly relevant to them. So, just by asking these 3 questions, it helped to have the confidence, the readiness, the clarity, just go, boom, here's the course, let's go. And, that's just one example of countless students with this model have helped create workshops, courses, modules, all kinds of different things, talks, emails, following this one model that kick, procrastination in the butt and help people get moving. So I hope this has been helpful. I'd love to hear from you if it has. Tell me what you're going to teach. Send me an email, shoot me a message. I don't know. I'd love to hear from you. Hope this has been helpful. Bloody love ya. See you soon.